Hey people, Intrid here, 53 SDL Province, got ourselves a Chaos Invasion on the Blue Chaos team. Two Plague Champions, first up is Jono, 28VH, and Nityphice, I'm going to say. These guys start off with a damage of a time bolt gun. They can get melee weapons, debilitate enemies, and support allies, can also repair. Rounding off the Chaos fellas is ZOXIN and a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive hero with powerful battlefield manipulation and control. On the red team, spbtvtower as a Lord General fighting in ranged combat begins with a retinue, can add to the retinue throughout the game, bringing strong defense and support alongside Bredovyi and a Farseer support hero fighting in melee combat. Powerful buffs and some control. This is the Ulthway Elite Scheme, Ulthway DLC. And rounding off the teams, Crapaud and a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist, can infiltrate and disrupt, some powerful offense and a bit of support. Looks like those Termagants got Doom Bolted, and there's the Flesh Hook on the Chaos Sorcerer. Starting ability of the Lictor Alpha gets him off the field. Not sure if these heretics, no, heretics are now rotating towards the mid. Where are the Chaos Space Marines? They're already in the mid, supporting Nityphice. We got the Thousand Suns Elite Scheme here for Nityphice. Farseer and Howling Banshees into a bad spot. Banshees went a little bit too soon. Here are the Hormagaunts now. Double Heretics there to Doom Blast though, and CSM to fire their bolt guns. More Hormagaunts where those guys came from, but the same thing's going to happen off the field. Decent start now for the blue team. We'll see how these CSM do though. If you're losing Marines in first engagement, it's usually quite bad. Can set you back a bit in building gens and things, although that's lessened in a 3v3 where the allies can do the gen building. Plague Champion being chased down. Two Chaos Space Marines falling there to ranged fire of the Guardians. They were out of cover and stuff. That's 66 rep position each model to reinforce those guys. Double CSM for both of the Plague Champion players. How's Jono doing back at base? The Guard have pushed through on the west side, capping up the contested points. They have not gone for the power. Only a node. Got a Sentinel and double Guardsman. Heretics looking for those Guardians, but they might get stomped. Ground count is in. There's a Doom Blast on the Farseer, which is used to suppress and damage nearby foes. Typically, when you use it on an enemy hero, you're not really looking for the damage, just looking to control their movement with the suppression. Can be a nice tool to have, but you are sacrificing a model for it, which needs to be reinforced. So you need to be not too willy-nilly using your Doom Blasts, I think. CSM fleeing from double Hormagaunts, and the Lictor Alphas sticking on that Chaos Sorcerer. Might see some Chains of Torment going on tier 2. Heretics with the Aspiring Champion skulking around on the east side, but they've been spotted. And they're going to get mobbed. They're just going to try and run through and then retreat, I think. Oh, Doom Blast. Okay, they're setting up a fight. There's the Doom Bolts. Really nice idea to suppress them all with a Doom Blast and then Doom Bolt the big blob. Didn't quite work out. Crapaud was live to it. Piles into this fight though. It's a bad fight to take against the double Heretics and the Sorcerer there. 429 500 on the VPs early on. We'll see if ZOXIN can now push through. Maybe grab that contested point and decap the wreck point perhaps. On the west side it's blue. Chaos Space Marines getting stomped. Plague Champion in some heavy cover. Where's these Heretics at? They're capping, so there's no Nurgle worship going on. Double CSM moving up though. Getting some decent shots on those poor Guardsmen. Double Rangers for Bredovyi. More CSM here for Nityphice. Bunch of dead Heretics there, but looks like they survived. The Plague Champion's off the field, level to 2. Heretics here looking for the Howling Banshees. The Doom Blast was a bit early there. They got the suppression, but I don't think they dealt that much damage with it. You want to wait until the last moment when all of your Heretics are kind of ensconced in the fight, because you don't know which one's going to explode. You want to get the maximum amount of damage out of it, because again, you are sacrificing model for that ability. Plague Champion down here, Jono. Doom Bolts. That is a nasty Doom Bolts. Almost wiped both of those Guardians. That was very, very effective. Wrapped up some XP there. Big stomp from the Sentinel, some Nurgle worship. Lord General being used in melee combat. He does have a special attack. Not sure what his melee DPS is, but I guarantee it's more than the Plague Champion by default. More Doom Bolting and another really good hit. A couple of awesome Doom Bolts in a row, and a revive coming through. We'll get the Sorcerer almost to level 3. And here come a bunch of Tyranids. Warrior Brood up for Crapaud. These guys provide a basic synapse, which is kind of defensive buffs for these non-synapse creatures. And they've got some power melee and a passive leap into combat, which is disruptive. They're really good. Now alongside that Lictor Alpha now. And those double Hormagaunts, of course. We're going to see some melee synapse for sure. So I think the Robes of Torment is a pretty safe bet for ZOXIN. Does have some Noise Marines here. That Sonic Blaster, good against infantry, can also disable ranged attacks and be used against enemy generators. They're not going for this one though. Looks like they're going for the northeast corner. Back on his side, I guess, ZOXIN. Some tier 2s coming through. Oh, Bredovyi has lost some rangers along the way. Completely missed that, but he's still got one on the field. Can't see any ranger bodies around. Not sure where they were lost. Raptors on the field for Nityphice. Bad news for those guardsmen. Sentinels kinda low as well. Hattichans can maybe counter-initiate them. Heretics going in. These are Jonos. And that was a shotgun blast, I think, but it didn't knock them back. And then they worship. That must have been a misclick or a mish-hotkey by Jono. Must have been looking to Doom Blast and then run, I think, but he worshipped Nurgle instead. And those guys, I don't think they had... No, they didn't have aspiring champions, so it's not a huge loss, although losing 2 more Marines there is quite bad. These guys do have a turn of war. Tier 2 for Jono. Wonder if we see a Blood Crusher or something. Oh, we got more Rangers for Bredovyi. He really wants the double Rangers up, I guess. They don't have their rifles yet. These guys do. Tier 2 now for Nityphice. Any war gear on the Plague Champions? Nope. Sorcerer's down on the eastern side. Warrior Brood doing some decent work, but they need to flee. Didn't drop a model. Lictor Alpha still in there. Level 2 with Scything Talons coming in. So we're going to see a Scythe right now, I guess. Oh, doesn't have the energy for it, I think. Used his energy flesh hooking and sneaking around. Scythe is quite nice, though. Would have been really good there for a big area of effect attack and some damage. And does it suppress you as well, I think? Yeah, suppresses and knockback. Warrior Brood coming out of base kind of early. We do have adrenal glands up for the Hormagaunts. Warrior Brood also getting their own adrenal glands, which gives them the melee synapse, making those Hormagaunts way more frightening. Maybe we'll see some Gene Stealers, eh? I think melee Raveners might be good here. Bring them out a bit late. They can burrow strike, get things started off, and then the Warriors come in with their own leap. Maybe get the deadly jump on the Lictor Alpha as well. Lots of disruption you can get. 1 gen down and the node down. Heretics can run interference a bit. We're going to get a flank though from the Eldar. Probably needs to get out here, ZOXIN. Eldar can be on you in a flash. Howling Banshees jumping over stuff with aspect of fleetness. There's the Cacophony setting up a little heretic push. They do decide to Doom Blast and then they run. Okay, CSM still in place. Sorcerer comes in with a Doom Bolt. A few decent hits. Capillary Tower comes in from Infestation. That grants some defensive and movement boosts for these Tyranid units. Flesh Hook. And Adrenal Glands is in for the Lictor Alpha. So no deadly jump. There's Pheromone for the Pheromone Cloud. Debuffs enemies and allows your allies to reinforce. Really nice accessory. Giving the Lictor Alpha some actually quite powerful support and utility in there. Missile Launcher Sentinel. Getting smacked around a bit by the Raptors. I think he's going to be alright. I think. Maybe not. Didn't realise there was double CSM and a Plague Champion there. They don't have a ton of war, but it was enough. Raptors can now cap. Might be worth the double CSM and the Plague Champion trying to jump on the power, but here come the Eldar with that awesome mobility they have. Triple Rangers are here. Okay. Really leaning into those Rangers. Wreck Point got decapped, but they didn't go for the power on that side, I don't think. Now needs to be wary of the Scything Talons. No war gear whatsoever by the Sorcerer. No Robes of Torment. Gets a Dreadnought up though. Noise Marines now for Jono here. Howling Banshees war shouting. Forcing the CSM into the garrison, but then they wiped. Yep, they wiped. Got shot to death after that. Got some chosen Plague Marines for Nityphice. Unique to the Plague Champion. Power melee knives, passively damage nearby enemies, and they can create zombies. Someone in the comments said they no longer have heavy melee damage over time, which now that they mention it, I kind of recall happening. There's a Dark Flames on those guards, and we do have plasma guns. So I'm not sure what the damage over time is now. Is it just regular melee? Plague Champion with the Plague Sword for Jono, and Armor of Pestilence, and Icon of Nurgle. So he's going to do some work if he can get into melee. He's very slow though. That was the Aura of Decay, which wasn't close enough to knock anything down, but he survived. Scared a bunch of stuff. He should level up quite quickly now with Icon of Nurgle, because he damages everything. So when it dies, he gets a bit of XP. Melee Synapse is indeed in. Mormagaunt's are loving it. Can't do much against the Dreadnought though. Maybe we'll see Mark of Horn. It looks like he lost his Noise Marines, eh? See him dead over here. Maybe they got flesh hooked at the end. Lictor Alpha is almost level 3. Mormagaunt's thought about a decap, but the Dreadnought said no. There's a webway on the eastern side. That's the Farseer down, I think. Yes, it is. Mormagaunt's getting a cheeky decap. No aspiring champion for the Raptors yet, which I think is fine. You can still jump in, you can still get that suppression. Don't need to spend on an extra model unless you want them to actually fight stuff they'd maybe struggle with. Because they can still tear apart guardsmen and stuff without him. Blast Master gets a good hit there. Maybe you get the aspiring champion once they've leveled up a bit and they're a bit safer from a quick wipe kind of thing. Blast Master gets disrupted. Here come those Raptors, here come CSM, here come Heretics. What are Catachin's up to? Got into a bad spot. Rangers though picking off the CSM. CSM are still moving in. I'm not sure what they're up to. I guess they're just looking for a place to shoot from, but they're getting awfully close down to a single model. And they may wipe if they're not careful. Blast Master doing some good work. We've got Nurgle's Rot in there creating zombies. CSM do go down. That was a bit sloppy there from Nityphice, I think. Yeah. Nityphice had a lot of stuff to keep an eye on there, I think. Lost track of those CSM 343 to 381. No upgrade, no mark yet for this Dreadnought, but it's doing alright in it. We got the Rod of Warpfire. And we do have now the Robes of Torment. You can tell by the Grenade Decorator, although maybe the Rod of Warpfire also gives the Grenade Decorator. Kind of signifies that there's some kind of area of effect ability on the hero. On the power now. Crapaud can't really respond to the Dreadnought super well. He's gone tier 3 though, looking for Carnifex, I guess. And Bredovyi is down to triple Rangers. Thought about Wraithguard, instead goes Wraith Lord. Really now, I thought Wraithguard was a decent shout there. Goes Wraith Lord, a bit riskier. Always risky to get a walker in a 3v3. There's the Rogues of Torment doing the Chains of Torment. Heretics coming in, they get scythed. They're going after the warriors, I think. You can't move, you need to destroy that central mass. But all those melee Tyranids don't have any ranged weapons to do that, so they're just stuck in the chains, being tormented. 343, 344, very, very close. There's another scythe. Was that first one just a special attack, or does it have a really short cooldown? Wipes out those heretics. ZOXIN had a bad engagement there in the end. Maybe takes out the Sorcerer too. Does indeed take out the Sorcerer. I mean, with some help from the Rangers. That was some good work from the Lictor Alpha, who maybe gets away. Dreadnought's trying to take him down. Let's put him on melee mode. Not going to get a melee hit, but does take him down with ranged weapons. Still nothing really to respond to the Dreadnought. Here comes a Carnifex though, maybe with a Venom Cannon. Manticore on the field for spbtvtower. And there's tier 3 for Nighty. 2-1 now for blue team. Blast Master set up on the west side with a Nurgle Shrine and a turret back there. Wraith Lord's got a Bright Lance. That will help against the Dreadnought. In fact, he's doing really good work already. Shoulder mounted. Still retains all of his melee prowess with this shoulder mounted weapon, which is pretty neat. Dreadnought's going to be warped out, I would think, by ZOXIN. There it is. One of his global abilities. Very, very useful. Back to the west side. Heavy Bolter keeping the Chaos fellas at bay. Blast Master can maybe just shoot it. Chosen Plague Marines tried to get around the side, and I think maybe they could have. This thing repositions. Still blue here. This is being decapped though. Doom Bolts. 4 Termagants able to get away. CSM with an aspiring champion. What are the other fellows? These guys also have aspiring champion. And so do those guys. Plasma Guardsmen, though, do not mess around. Raptors get in there to suppress them. And we see the Icon of Nurgle effects just decaying those guys. There's a Dark Flames as well on the Rangers. And maybe takes out the heavy weapon team. It does take out the heavy weapon team. That was super effective Dark Flames. What did the Carnifex get? Did indeed get the Venom Cannon. Anti-large targets. Really bad news for the Dreadnought. Maybe now's the time you go for... Oh, goes for Mark of Zinch. I thought maybe Mark of Khorne to tie that thing up in melee. And then Blood Rage it and then teleport it out. Back to the west side. Got that Nurgle worship. Oh, yeah, it's Nurgle worship. They're not worshipping the shrine. Because you wouldn't get the green hexagon otherwise. But you still get the heal from the shrine, just not as often as when you are worshipping it and you can't reinforce. There's some more Nurgle worship from the other player. You can't benefit from your allies worshipping, unfortunately. 3-4-3-2-8-6. Lictor Alpha being sneaky. Takes to the Sorcerer out the fight. And there's some Venom Cannon volleys on the Dreadnought. Zinchian Worship hides it for now. Warrior Brood will be able to spot it. Did not want to push through there, interestingly. We've got Plague Marines here now with that snaring missile launcher. Can help against the Carnifex. Carnifex is tough, though. 1350 hit points of vehicle armor. Back to the west side. Blastmaster getting a very good hit on the Catechins who need to flee. Lord General just trying to face tank the turret there, which is weird. Maybe he didn't even know the turret was there. Maybe he was trying to melt a gun the shrine down. Phobos coming, says Jono. Me too, says Nityphice. And indeed, 2 Phobos on the way. There's some Seer Council, though, from Bredovyi, who has recovered with the Wraith Lord and now the Seer Council. They got a hell of a fight on their hands, though. And in fact, they fled. And we got a zombie Seer Council in there. Yeah, that's a massive melee blob. Not a huge amount to threaten the Wraith Lord, though, is there? Gonna now take down the shrine. Here come a bunch of Tyranids, including a big stompy Carnifex. Red team flooding the west side. Lord General needs to run. They champion with the Aura of Decay to knock stuff down. Gonna go down if he's not careful, though. Creating some zombies here and there with his sword. And now goes down. Should get revived on that spot, I would think. What are you guys doom blasting for? I think they meant to worship Nurgle. Something got dropped in. Was that... Oh, that is incendiary shell from the artillery spotters. The Phoboses hit the field. They can threaten that Carnifex with their las cannons. Dreadnought getting shots on the Wraith Lord. Big old Chains of Torment in there. Wraith Lord may go down here. Marco Zinch Dreadnought's doing huge amounts of damage. There's also those Plague Marines in there. Oh no, Plague Marines are shooting the Carnifex now. Okay, down goes the Wraith Lord. The Dreadnought is barely standing. Bioplasma gets the finish. Really well done by Crapaud. Topsy-turvy fight there. 339-233. Something's capping contested power. Or not. They just left it. So close to finishing the cap, fellas. Phobos of Jono on... Oh, they're both here. So these guys have a twin-linked heavy bolter, a storm bolter on the top, and big twin-linked las cannons on the side sponsons. They also count as demons when it comes to worship and stuff. Yeah, I have not spotted... Oh, the Carnifex goes down, Phobos getting it done. I've not spotted a Manticore strike, but maybe it just... It was on the screen, I didn't notice it. Maybe it messed up the Dreadnought or something. Lots of damage over time on these poor Catechins, but the Chosen Plague Marines do it. And that Plague Champion's doing... Oh, no, it's not. This is Nityphice. Doesn't have the Icon of Nurgle. 328 to 229 on the VPs. What is this? It's death. Those were CSM, I think, capping. I think those are ZOXIN CSM. We just got tossed around. Phobos is power bashing here. Really far forward for a Land Raider. And the other one also follows in. Seer Council have their fancy spears, so they got heavy melee damage. Going after the Chosen Plague Marines, who will explode when they die. And there's Touch of Nurgle on the Heretics. They've got a Doom Blast, though. You've got a Doom Blast, fellas. There we go. Big global buff from the Plague Champion, doing damage and knockback, and also healing allies when you die. Anti-Core Strike. Got a few hits. All sorts of shenanigans going on here. Bit more touch of Nurgle explosions. These guys I think are going to be alright. Got some zombies. And now a fire prism. The two Phobos survive for now. Can't rear arm hit a Land Raider, but you still want to be facing the front, facing forward so you can fire those big old las cannons. There's a noxious cloud coming in. I think it was spotted. Dispersed shot, knocking stuff down. 328 to 164. No attempt to push on the Manticore. I mean, they can't see what we can see back here. So we have... Is that both Plague Champions down? It is. Sorcerer goes to revive that guy. Be a nice chunk of XP for him. Raptors did indeed get their aspiring champion in the end. He's level 3, these fellas now. There's another Carnifex, also with Venom Cannon. How does Seer Council doing? They've got a bit of XP. They've been mainly stopped pretty quickly from what I've seen. Been some scary melee blobs. ZOXIN with a Great Unclean One on the way. And Chaos Terminators are up for Jono. Already have their autocannon. Good damage to all targets. That demoralization effect going on. Seer Council are on them. So is the Farseer. Throws Guide on the Seer Council. She's got Armor of Fortune. Throws Fortune on them too. And Spirit Stones for the heal. And Chains of Torment puts a stop to all of that shenanigans. Level 6 Sorcerer there. Heretics piling in. There's Touch of Nurgle again. 311 to 147. A good Blastmaster hit on the Lord's General, but there's a rocket run. Some decent hits, nothing too scary. Those CSM I think will make it out. Big hits on that Phobos. That Bioplasma was so good for a finish. I didn't quite get the finish there though. Oh, artillery spotter smoke coming in to mess up the range of that stuff. 297 to 147 on the VPs. Bloodletters on the way for ZOXIN. Great Unclean One is in. Or is following the Sorcerer around at the moment. Yeah, blue team have been really pushed back. There's a las cannon and there's melter guns. Big threat on the Phobos. Fire Prism also getting shots. Down it goes. Plague Champion was trying to repair. But there's just too much stuff arrayed against it. Noxious Cloud is here for some reason. Not sure what that's about. Maybe he thinks it's defensive or something. I was trying to move. 277 to 147. 2 to 1 for red, but can they hold on? spbtvtower, did he just drop a unit? Manticore's shooting. Oh, on the VP. You have to manually target each rocket on that thing, but it's really powerful on long range. Plague Marines probably need to run. There's some ZOXIN worship getting knocked around. And there's that Great Unclean One. This guy also passively damages nearby enemies. So if they could get the Chosen Plague Marines and the Icon of Nurgle guy and this guy all together, it's a lot of damage. Got some nasty abilities too. There's Fortune on the Seer Council. Can maybe do the Cloud of Flies stomp thing. 249 to 147. Seer Council going after the Chosen Plague Marines, I think. Bloodletters are there. Some bright yellow Bloodletters, which are demons with power melee weapons. The Seer Council, I think, went to the wrong location. Not sure what else they could have gone for, though, really. I don't think they wanted to go after the Great Unclean One. Maybe they should have tried to thread the needle through the middle or go straight for the Phobos. Would have got Dirge casted, though. Lots of damage on the Great Unclean One. Gonna be okay. Jump on the triple Rangers, gets them off the field. Triple cap now, though, for the red team. And here's the Lictor Alpha. I think he just grabbed the VP. And he's level 5. What is he up to? Trying to fight something? Oh, he's dead. Great Unclean One's got him. Pathing was really weird there. Blastmaster gets another really good shot. Could maybe use another one of these guys. Manticore coming in though. Takes out the wreckage of the Land Raider. Gets the Noise Marines out of there. There's a shrine being worshipped. Plague Champion takes the VP. And this is the guy with Icon of Nurgle. Other guy's down. In a bit of an awkward spot actually. Blue team get their VP back. So they do have a 2-to-1. And they retain their lead on the VPs. Fire Prism. Almost took out the Plague Champion, but he gets taken down anyway. Phobos is back, needs a lot of repairs. Can also worship it, but it is more efficient to repair a single entity and worship it. We've got some Marco Zinc CSM. Not sure why exactly, maybe for the Warrior Brood. I mean, it's good anti-infantry damage, but save that resources, just get the Aspiring Champion and pop your Slaughter maybe. It's really good against the Warrior Brood. Chains of Torment again doing really good work, but they're able to brute force their way through. The Seer Council providing passive damage resistance bonuses to all of this Tyranid stuff. Quite a powerful little combo. Phobos is still here. Really badly needs repairs. I'm not sure if I've noticed it using a Dirge caster yet. Cataclysm trying to grab the VP back. Marcus Inch fellas doing some work. Level 4. They're pumping out a lot of DPS. Those Cataclysms level 4, level 3. Tyranids assaulting this Nurgle position here. Terminators, I would assume, targeting the Warrior Brood, trying to get those Synapse backlashes to fire. Yep. And a demoralization as well. Warrior Brood are going to wipe. Warrior Brood do wipe. That Synapse Backlash does 10% damage and knocks you down. It used to be, in retail, I think it used to be 18% damage or something like that. It was quite brutal. Especially when a Carnifex gets hit by the Backlash. Oh, CSM just wiped. Lictor Rafa level 6. He's quite vicious, isn't he? Terminator's teleporting away from him even. 2-1 for red. Can they finally get that VP lead? Great Unclean One's back. Some Guardians on the way for Bredovyi to repair the Fire Prisms. I think another Phobos. Great Unclean One's kind of alone. There's the Cloud of Flies. And that's an Eldritch Storm. Hits the Great Unclean One. A few times actually. Sorcerer needs to retreat and then teleport him out, I think. And then there's some ZOXIN worship. Still very close. Down to 244 hit points. There's the teleport. On 5 hit points, he got teleported out. That was so close. Red team do have a VP lead. Terminator's on the VP though. Sorcerers, sorry, the 2 Plague Champions are down. It's really hurting the blue team. 2 heroes being down. Got a decap. Should the Sorcerer maybe be focusing on this VP, harassing it with his various things? Maybe. He doesn't really have anything quick to follow him over there though, that's the thing. He could teleport something to him, but then he can't use it for escape afterwards. Here comes a Predator tank for ZOXIN, or Chaos Predator I guess. Lictor on the way for Crapaud. And there's that 3rd Phobos. Nityphice is still around being repaired. 100 to 127. Cataclysm's going to cap maybe. They're decent cappers because at least they can drop the smoke on themselves. They've got a defensive smoke grenade. Doom bolts. Mostly misses. Although they're not massively threatened by it with the Seer Council damage resistance aura. Those were just level 1 Guardians though. Baneblade on the way for spbtvtower. 1-1 cap, gonna be a 2-1 for red. There it is. Do the blue team have it in them to push back and get this VP blue again? Some Nurgle worship. You guys leveled up. Level 4 Chosen Plague Marines, almost 2,400 hit points. Only have regular vehicle infantry armor and they're quite slow, but they've got nice health regen. And I assume their health regen gets better as they level as well. Usually the case. Usually everything gets a little bit better. What is this? That's the Lictor of Crapaud. The Lictor Alpha though is in here. Still level 6. He seems to have been level 6 for a while. Manticore striking. There's artillery spotters getting some vision. And a Dark Flames chucked in too. A little bit of skirmishing. Sorcerer gets knocked over. He's level 7. Has not got the Tome of Subjugation for those Seer Council, eh? Guess he's had other things to spend resources on. There's a Marcos Inch Predator tank. Charging forward. going after the Carnifex. It's going to get outshot though, I think. Yeah, down it goes. Maybe that was an old order given to it. Bunch of retreating, down to 42 VPs though, the blue team. And then Naturals being stolen, but they did get the contested. There's that Chains of Torment. That looked like a direct hit on that guy. And he got Las Cannon to death. They did get the Carnifex in the end then. Fire Cripples make it out. There's the Baneblade. That big mega battle cannon and our Demolisher cannon coming in. It's got Las Cannons on it too, and Heavy Bolters can even suppress you with them. That tier 3 Lictor being a massive nuisance on the VP here. It's got heavy melee damage. It's got free infiltration, can leap and can flesh hook. Incredibly powerful unit. Gets back on the cap, and he's fast capping. Down to 31 VPs to Chaos Fellas. Need to get a hold on their natural. I think that's why ZOXIN has retreated back here. So we can try and regroup and get on it. Where's the Great and Clean one though? Oh, here he is. Can use Foul Snare on that guy? Oh no, he can't. He's infiltrated. And he can't cap. Tries to use the Vomit, but the Lictor has already left. Down to 23 VPs. Can they get their natural back quickly enough? Baneblade getting 3 shots on the Terminators. Trying to formation coming in. Venom Cannon getting shots on the Phobos as well. Gonna go down. Down it goes. Losing control. Crashes into that. I wonder if there was a different feature plan for that, because it's weird. Oh, there's an Imperial Abyss. It's weird that the game tells you that the vehicle loses control, because it doesn't do anything. I wonder if at some point it could like crash into units and stuff, but that was deemed a bit too much RNG. So they removed it and it just crashes into walls. Down to 9 VPs. Can they get the Baneblade? Nope, the Phobos gets got instead. Baneblade survives. 9 to 118. Some Pormagaunt's getting wiped. ZOXIN needs to be very careful. Needs to keep something on his VP, I think. Multiple things, perhaps. Look at that tier 3 Lictor. Getting some fast capping over here. This could be enough. Bunker goes down. It's going to be a repair bunker, I would think, for that Baneblade. Lictor does not get the cap. Leaps away. Almost goes down. Level are you, Mr. Plague Champion? Level 6. Great and Clean one is here. What's been kept over here? Then some Heretics and some Bloodletters. Nityphice down to 2 units. Still got triple Rangers up, Bredovyi. That's pretty cool. Great and Clean one being very aggressive now. Trying to get the Baneblade down. Getting some big hits, but there's going to be lots of stuff to deal damage to that big fella. Can anyone grab the VP? That's the Lictor Alpha. Level 10 Lictor Alpha. When was the last time we saw that? Baneblade was got. Dark Flame, some Nurgle Vomiting. Being in onto those 9 VPs, we've got some more Chaos Terminators with the awesome Thousand Suns garb. And they're getting Lightning Claws too. Sick of these Seer Council, I guess, who are going after the Great and Clean one. ZOXIN looking to warp it out. There it is. Was it done in time? Because sometimes damage will track. Well, it was done in time, but the Sorcerer was a bit too close and they couldn't escape. Sometimes it's worth just retreating your Sorcerer away to help the warp get the stuff away. This guy's going to explode. Will heal allies and heavily damage enemies, but there's nothing here to be affected by it. Are they both Venom Cannons, these guys? No, this guy's becoming a Thornback. Another Phobos coming through. ZOXIN's got a big pile of resources. He's level 9. I wonder what he's looking for. Maybe another Great and Clean one, but that's really risky. He might not come out in time. 9 to 90 on the VPs. Might be worth just getting some Havocs up over here, you know? Lightning Claw Terminators are getting Dark Reapered pretty hard. That was a huge amount of damage. I mean, there were other things shooting them as well. Plague Champion's going to go down. 9 to 79. I think Armor of Pestilence should give him a death explosion like the Eversaw has. That's what I think, since they nerfed the health on it a while ago. Terminator's getting brutalized here by Pew Pew. Noxious Cloud was sent in. Just a desperation move by Nityphice, I think. Down to 9 VPs and all trying to stop this cat. The Farseer is on the cap though at the moment. And there's action over here. Well played, Crapaud, keeping the pressure up on that midpoint. There's a 2-1 though. I think that's going to be enough for the red team. Terminator's trying to get a decat. Can't do it in time. And the red team grab it. Awesome game indeed. Have a downed Plague Champion level